Must-win game for Lopetegui. Should Kudus start? It's the big match preview. Tomorrow night we're taking on Leicester. Joining me tonight to preview this one is Dan. How you doing, mate?
Not great, mate. Still not over the weekend's result. Honestly, that's why I'm glad this game is so soon to try and get the taste, cleanse the palate, as they say. Like you said, must win, must perform, must respond to that result and that performance, mate.
This is the thing, mate. Look, as we were, we went out after the game Saturday, and we were talking to people, and having a good chat about the game and all that. And as we said in the reaction as well afterwards, it's bad to concede that amount of goals. Look, the refereeing on the night was shocking, but you can't blame the referee for the ease that we conceded the goals. You can sit down and say, the fifth shouldn't have stood because it was never a penalty and maybe a foul for the first. But the fact that we conceded that amount of goals isn't good, and it's something we've got to put right. Once again, we've conceded within inside the first 15 minutes of a fixture. These are all the things that have been going wrong for a while. And I think Lopetegui gave himself a bit of breathing space with that win over Newcastle. But the way we capitulated again, I think Nicky made a fair comment in one of the fan cams that we, like against Spurs, we have this crazy spell where we just concede goals and look awful, and it's got to stop.
A lot, 100%. Like you said, he did get himself a bit of breathing space, but the oxygen's been sucked all out of that breathing space, and now the pressure's massively back on. A lot of people talking about the Villa, we've been drawn to Villa in the third round of the FA Cup. I don't feel anything for that as things stand, because I have no aspirations of us actually being able to do anything in that competition. We are, because under this manager, with the way it looks like, we get a big team, a good team, and we just roll over. Because that's what we've seen time and time again. Because let's face it, people point to Man United because that's the only Big Six team we've beat, but we beat them at the end of Ten Hag's era, where he got sacked. We didn't beat a serious Man United team. We beat a mid-table Man United team. So with the way Villa's form is, we could potentially go and beat Villa away, but we draw a Liverpool, we draw a Chelsea, we draw an Arsenal, even Spurs. There's nothing about this team that in the past, West Ham, we've always thought anything can happen. We can beat anyone on our day, right? Especially if we get them at home. I have no confidence in that whatsoever under this manager.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, mate. That is a worry. It's like you said, as West Ham sides through history, we'll go and get knocked out by a lower league side, but always sometimes, look, a few times we don't, but we have turned up against the big boys before. And I think, going into this game, like I said, the FA Cup at the moment is far, far beyond what we need to be thinking about. We've got games coming up thick and fast. This Christmas period that's approaching is going to be a tough one. And for me, it's 6 points from the next two games or he's out the door. The performance was there against Newcastle. The performance was there, a little bit in the second half, but you can't escape the fact that we conceded 5 goals in the first half in the first 45 minutes. That's shocking. And this is the worry, and this is the reason we're in the predicament we're in.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I have no confidence in things changing, because you think there's a chance that maybe things have clicked. Maybe we've turned a corner after that Newcastle game, and we just completely shit ourselves. We got battered by Liverpool in the cup. We've been battered by Spurs. We've been battered by Chelsea. We've been battered by Arsenal. So I'm not even right now. People talk about it. I'm not even thinking about FA Cup. I don't care if we beat Villa, because we beat Villa. Unless we get lower league teams all the way to the final, we're going to do nothing there. But like you said, 6 points is an absolute must out of Leicester and Wolves. Not a point less. But this Leicester game in particular is so big because it's on the back of that awful result against Arsenal. I want to see that team show some pride, show some fight, and come out and really show that they've got something about them and actually play with some spirit about them, you know, and actually come out and try and win every ball, battle for every single ball, first, second, press, you know, run themselves into the ground. That's what I want to see.
The crazy thing is, mate, is that's what we saw at 4-0 down. You know, 4-0 down, it was like, you know, the biggest thing for me, we showed them far too much respect. Far too much respect. And that, I think, we've come unstuck under Moyes in the past. And again, we've started to come unstuck against Lopetegui. We did it with Chelsea, we did it with Spurs, we did it with Arsenal. As soon as we stopped showing them that respect and started getting about them, we got 2 goals back. You know, whether you could sit there and say, all right, there was a foul in the build up to the first one and okay. But we stopped showing them respect. We started putting tackles in. We started throwing our body into challenges in the second half when it's too little too late. You know, You've got to be doing that at 0-0 against a London rival. You know, these are derbies. These are London derbies. And again, I think this goes back to a lot of players don't understand what derbies are to the fans, right? So when I look at it going, I'm with you. We need a response now. You know, we're the wounded animal. Leicester, they're going to be looking for the new manager bounce. You know, Nestor takes over. This is his first game in charge. He hasn't had long to work with the side. You know, I think that the appointment of Nestor could be a good appointment for them. You know, he seems quite a good coach. I think
I was open to us getting him when Lopetegui was before the Newcastle game. I was open to the idea of us getting him. That's all right.
And it says a lot. Look, Ten Hag had a bad tenure at United towards the end, but the fact that the players wanted Nestor to stay shows that there's something about him. You know, he did all right in the games that he took charge of United as well, in sort of the interim. So, you know, they're going to be looking for that. They're going to be wanting to sort of try and turn their season around, and they're going to look at that result and think, you know, if they get an early goal, the pressure's back on West Ham. You know, the pressure is on us. And they'll sit there and, you know, as much as Vardy's now aging, he's still a threat on the counter-attack. You know, and especially playing the high line that we sometimes play, it could be very, very interesting.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. Like, you know, we talk about Kudus. Obviously, the big question, should he start coming into this game? We spoke a few weeks ago, or last week, I think it was on Friday Night Pint or something. We said about him having to earn his position back in the side because we're playing so good. After that game, I don't think he has to earn anything because a lot of those players have not earned to keep their place. However, what I said on my solo channel with my video is that I want to see the same team that started against Arsenal start this game. So each and every one of them can actually show up and make it right and prove themselves. Every single player that started that game starts this and gives the performance of their lives and show that they're worthy of wearing the West Ham shirt. So that's the only reason, not that any of them deserve it.
No, I'm with you. I don't think Kudus comes straight in. Look, you know, Kudus is a great player. He is, you know, potentially going on to be a very, very good player. You know, he's shown in the games he has played for us. He's been our most attacking threat, barring Somerville. The interesting thing would be the turnaround, how quick this game is. You know, Todibo we saw going down with a bit of cramp towards the end of the game. We know he picked up a knock against Arsenal as well, so it's against Newcastle as well. Sorry, so it's three games in sort of quick succession for him.
We didn't even have a centre back on the bench, by the way.
No, I think Mavropanos and the young lad Casey both come down with a virus leading up to the game, so that is a bit of a worry. But you know, it's Antonio, another one. You know, can he start in this game? You know, this close to turnaround. You know, he's getting a bit older now, but I'm with you, mate. I think the starting 11 stays the same. I think it gives a chance for these players to show that, you know, to show what they're worth. I think looking for positives in against Arsenal, I thought Soler did okay. I think he's slowly finding his feet within the side and within the Premier League. It was his ball through to Wan-Bissaka was a good ball. Good vision. Played past Wan-Bissaka again. Probably another player that did okay in the fixture as well. So yeah, as I said, starting 11 wise, I'd stick with the same. I don't think Kudus comes straight back in. You get banned for that length of time. As much as he's been training and the like, he deserves to sit on the bench for this one. But on the plus side, mate, what a player to bring off the bench.
Yeah, no, 100%, and yeah, he'll be raring to go. I imagine. Hopefully, he's going to be fit enough to play, like match fit enough to put in a good amount of time for us. But yeah, he's exactly what we need. But I want to see him playing with Somerville, not him or Somerville. That's this is Dan. You have eyes like John Travolta. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea if that's a good thing or bad thing. That's a random thing. I've never heard that in my life. But yeah, like that's the key for me is if you can have. See, I look at Paqueta, like he's a weird one because he had such a good performance against Newcastle, and then you just see him like working against us in the Arsenal game.
Yeah,
and if I did have to drop a player, I would lean towards Paqueta, and then you play a Paqueta in the middle. It's Kudus in the middle, Somerville on the left, Bowen on the right. That's what I would go for. I mean, it's a tough one. I just don't know what to make. Same with Antonio. There's players like that who they'll have one game where they turn it on and then they go missing the next one.
I think with Antonio, that's very much Antonio's career. Sometimes he's unplayable, other times he looks a bit like Bambi on ice at times. He's one of those type of players. But mate, this is the thing with him. Love him or hate him, we'd be lost without him over the last few seasons. So he's probably going to start. You could potentially see with Kudus, you could see as Antonio tires Bowen shifting to the forward line, and then Kudus getting to play wide right. It's we've seen this season that Kudus on the left, as much as he's that threat, the final product isn't the best because he's playing out of position. He's playing on his, on a side where he'd rather be on the opposite side, doing what Bowen does. But also, as we said before, you can't take that out of Bowen's game, and it's finding a way to get them both to fit. The biggest thing that worries me going into this game with Leicester is you look at the teams they've picked up points from. I'm sure it's barring Spurs, they've beaten or got points from teams that are down that end of the table. And Spurs was a game, I think they played Spurs first start of the season. And that does worry me because we've said that the difference between staying out of that is to beat every single team down there. And we've done that this season so far, the teams that are sort of that lower end. And, Leicester has sort of done the same. But Leicester have done it early. They've got rid of their manager early. They've made that decision to get rid of Cooper. And, we'll see whether it was the right decision.
And someone in the chat mentioned, apparently the Guardian reported that we've identified I think former Porto manager Sergio I don't know how to say his name. Is it Cancensao?
Sure.
Someone said.
I don't even know who he is.
The Porto manager, former Porto manager. Which, I mean, I said I can't say I watched loads of Porto, only certain Champions League games. Conceição, thank you, P-Man. Yeah, so I think that could potentially be a good appointment. But again, I can't say of someone in terms of style of play and things like that. But in terms of Porto, over the last 7 years, have been a good team. They've won the Portuguese league, have done well in Champions League runs. But again, I'd have to do a lot more research before I put my name to it and say, yes, that's the man. That excites me. If he is the man and they are considering it, pull the trigger. You know what I mean? Like,
and this is the thing, with Sullivan, though, mate. It's not with Sullivan. He's going to keep giving him 2 more games. It's the crazy thing. it's a crazy thing. It seems to be it's always 2 games. You know, it was 2 games leading into the Newcastle game. We won one, got annihilated in the other. It's 2 games again. And I think, as you know, as much as we were saying we want to see performances, we want to see a bit of identity in the side. It's win or bust in both of these. You can't be going into the games against Brighton, against Liverpool, needing points, because they are going to be so difficult to pick points up. Liverpool at the moment are absolutely flying. You know, Brighton are pushing for them European places and trying to cement themselves inside that top 6. And you're looking at it now in the way we've performed against sides who are in and around that top 6 this season. Both these games are must win now.
Yeah. There's no way we're beating Liverpool. There's under Lopetegui. I give us no hope. Look what happened to us just in the cup, where they heavily rotated with a second string team. Look what a second string Liverpool team done to us.
Yeah.
So imagine what the best team in the league will do to us. The way we're playing. Brighton is going to be difficult. They can be hit and miss. Southampton, that's another one box that should be going there and winning. But it's a question, like I said, if we don't win tomorrow, he shouldn't be manager by then. He shouldn't be manager by the Wolves game. It's as simple as that.
And this is the thing, mate. It's, as much as Sullivan's come out and said again he's got 2 games, if we do lose tomorrow, the potential is they could pull the trigger. I don't think they will. I really don't think they will. But it could potentially happen. Kent's made a good comment there, you know, saying about bringing Kudus back in and playing him as the main striker. You know, and having Antonio as a you know, impact sub.
Antonio should be an impact sub. I think it'd be really good. On that Liverpool game, he was really good off the bench. I know we ended up still getting battered anyway, but he played really well. I think when you get Antonio, he's not having to worry about conserving energy. You know, say he's got 20 minutes, and in 20 minutes he can run himself ragged, right? I think you're going to see the best Antonio. So yeah, that's a shout. Fulkrug is said to be apparently soon, according to Lopetegui. He's closer, so we could see him sooner. I said this on Talksport, which isn't even out yet because they pre-record some of their stuff. Be at 12:30. When they asked me about Fulkrug, I said I can't get excited for Fulkrug. I don't feel anything about Fulkrug. The only thing I feel like is it's great to have another option, but I can't. I don't know enough about him and what he can offer us because we've barely seen him. So to me, I look at Fulkrug as great. We've got another body, but in terms of what he like, Kudus coming back, I know exactly what we get. I know exactly what he offers. Fulkrug, not so much.
And do you know the thing is though, Dan, when you look at us over the last few games, we've been looking to use Antonio in that sense of the counter-attacking football, you know, a little bit. If I think, you know, you look at the Newcastle game a bit, he linked up the play, held up the ball really well. But again, against Arsenal, we were looking at him more for the counter. Now, Fulkrug coming back, yes, if you're going to play that striker to link up with the other forward players, it could be exciting because he should hold the ball up. You know, we know with Antonio. Antonio's very hit and miss with his touch sometimes, and you know his ability to hold the ball up. Now, Fulkrug, I see being able to do that, so that's fine. But then when you're going to then play that system of, like we seem to play against the bigger sides, going back to the counter attack, you're relying heavily on Antonio. And if Antonio goes down injured, I'm worried because Fulkrug and Ings can't play that particular style of play. You know, and this was the thing for me with someone like signing Duran. He gives you a bit more about him because he's younger, because he's a bit quicker, because he's got a bit more, you know, pace about him than what, you know. Ings again, I thought, come on the other night and did okay. You know, he nearly scored himself, and
he just doesn't get a chance.
No.
I just don't get it. Every time we see him come on, he really makes a difference. He makes an impact. He doesn't just have chances. He helps create chances for others. And he still just goes with Antonio. It seems to be just, I can't work it out because if Antonio is his ideal striker. Why do we spend all that money on Fulkrug? Because Fulkrug is so different from Antonio. So if the way West Ham play benefits a striker like Antonio, then what's Fulkrug going to do in this team? Are we suddenly going to change how we play for Fulkrug when he's back?
Yeah, and this is the question, mate. This is exactly it. What is the system? We've been saying this for a long, long time. What is the system? What is the identity? Are we going to look to play against, no disrespect to Leicester and Wolves and all that, are we going to play that more link-up play, attacking style of football, and then switch to the counter-attacking football when we play the likes of an Arsenal, a City, a Tottenham? Is that the plan? The problem
is with Antonio, right? You would say that this counter-attacking football, but it's not working with Antonio because he's never there. He's too deep for us to counter-attack with him. Like in theory, on paper, he is the man to play that football for us to play up top when we want to play that way. In reality, he's nowhere near what he used to be in terms of playing that, So having him so deep or out wide, he's never that focal point we need when we need to ping the ball up to someone as we go on the break. That's my issue.
But again, as well, you see with Somerville, the change of Somerville to sort of tighten up a little bit in the midfield, you could sort of understand. But again, I think he looked our most attacking threat throughout the entire of the first half.
And brought him off for Alvarez.
Yeah. And like when, chatting to Brian after the game and all that, me and him were discussing it, and, he sees, and I see why we did it. But for me, I would have left Somerville on, but took Paquetá off. Because Paquetá didn't have the best game. He did this silly challenge that gave away the penalty. And I just think Somerville gave us more options. He gave us more of an outlet. He looked lively. He took the goal that got disallowed well. That was a good finish. And I think we've summed it up a few times. He seems to be Lopetegui's Benrahma.
Yeah.
And that's the worry, because he fully deserves to start in the side. He will be the one that will be sacrificed once he decides to put Kudus back in. And the temptation will be there. The fact that this is such a pressurised game, the temptation of Lopetegui will be there to put Kudus straight back in. And we all know it will be Somerville get sacrificed, which for me is quite unfair.
Yeah, 100%. Just to answer this question, because it's an interesting question. Do you think West Ham have the replacement ready if Lopetegui loses tomorrow? I don't. I think they have names, but I don't because if that replacement is ready, then replace him. Like, if you've got as far as getting someone like, yep, once you're ready to have me, once you're ready to sack him, I'm coming in. Like, then I think they probably have a good idea of this is the guy. But if you mean as ready as in, like, as soon as we sack him, like, this guy's appointed, I really don't think so. Because it just, that don't make no sense to me. Is like, right. So if it is, and I hope it isn't Terzic, but if it is Terzic, Terzic, right, we want you. So if we sack him, you're in. It just seems a bit mad. Like, if you're thinking about sacking him and you're talking to someone else, do you know what I mean? It's like, you're married and you're speaking to another woman. It's like, don't worry. Like, once I dump her, like, you're in. Like, don't worry. But I've got to dump her. Things have got to break off between us. Why are this woman going to keep hanging on the line? Just in case she might find herself another bloke. It's the way we.
But this is the thing. We've looked at times when we've laid off managers and dragged our feet in getting the right appointments, and I do feel that modern day football, you need to be always constantly looking. The project you see with Brighton lose a manager, they know who they're getting in, they know that they've got their short list of managers that they want to bring in. I'd like to see us do that. I'd like to see us have that if things are not going right, we're forward thinking enough, we're planning far enough ahead to say, right, if things don't work out with this guy, we're going to bring in this guy. And that's no disrespect to the manager that you've got there, because he could come in and do an absolutely brilliant job. But you've got to have a plan, you've got to have a backup. And for me now, losing these two games, or not getting 6 points from these 2 games, whatever way you want to look at it, if you're going to cut your losses, get someone else in to give them the rest of December to work with the squad so they can work out where they need it, think we need improving, where they think we need. If there is money to spend in January, by all accounts there is, but if there is money to spend in January, bring him in. If you're not going to back the manager that you've got and you are thinking of letting him go, bring the new one in, give him that time to work with the players that we've got. And, because he's going to learn a lot about them in this Christmas period because we've got a lot of games coming up thick and fast. So bring him in to do that. Then give him January to build the squad that he wants to build with what he can get in at a time. And it makes more sense because you're forward thinking. Instead of just waiting and holding on and then going in the middle of January, sacking Lopetegui and bringing someone else in, everything's rushed again. If you're going to cut your losses with a manager, you're saying, right, these 2 games, if it doesn't work out, we don't see the identity of the team, the way the team are playing, we don't get the results that we need, then it's time he's got to go.
Yeah, mate, 100%. So let's look, if Terzic is a caretaker manager, then I guess I'll take that. Because then problem is with that is it does put us in the situation of we have a temporary manager. There's always that mindset of players like, well, I'm playing for this guy that I know is not going to be here next season. It's kind of the same thing when there was that doubt about Moyes staying. And then with Big Sam, when the players knew that Big Sam wasn't staying and the impact, it can really have a negative effect. Whereas, just go out there, even if they're in a job. Don't wait till next season and hope someone good is out of a job. Just go out and try and get the best manager. If they're in a job, slap down the money. I know we've got to pay Lopetegui out and we've got to pay for another manager, but that's your own fault. You shouldn't have gone cheap and cheerful in the first place after we replaced Moyes. You should have went out and tried to get the best possible manager. So that's on Sullivan for cheaping out. So now he's going to have to swallow it.
Exactly. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I've got nothing against Lopetegui, but I want him to succeed. If he succeeds, West Ham succeed. And that's
of course, I want him to be our best ever manager. I want every manager to be our best ever manager. But
all this saying, listen, we win the next 2 games, then he keeps his job. But we've got to start seeing improvements.
Yeah, that's it. Because the thing is, I'm not going to be, even if we just scrape wins, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, we've got the results. No, I want to actually see something that we can build on, and consistency. That's what it's about the Newcastle game. This is all well and good. We want to see consistency. Yeah. And he's got 2 great opportunities in Leicester and Wolves to show back-to-back performances and back-to-back wins. And Leicester, talk about new manager bounce. I think it might be too soon for the new manager bounce because I don't think he's had much time with the squad. He only joined on the weekend, so he wasn't managing. So, for him to come in and really implement what he's trying to, if he manages to do it in 2 days, then there's be really questions on what has Lopetegui have to do in 6 months. Yeah, where he's done in 2 days.
That's it, mate. That's how you got to look at it. But it's a tough game. It's no matter how you look at it, it's a tough game. Leicester's, they're always up for it especially at home. So
they'll have their clappers out.
Yeah, they're annoying things. But look, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tricky. What are you going for tomorrow night, score-wise, mate?
Score-wise, so we're starting lineup. We're also are we sort of sticking with the?
I'm with you. I'm sticking with the same 11.
Yeah. Go out and actually earn your place in the team, right? Make it up to the fans. So score-wise, I'm saying 3-0. And that's not of any sort of confidence, right? I'm giving the players the benefit of the doubt that they do respond, that they do have some pride and self-respect, and they do give us the performance of the season. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm giving them the benefit of that. It's up to them to prove me right. Yeah. So 3-0 West Ham. Much needed. At least, I want to say at least 3-0.
I don't think it'll be as comfortable as you're saying there, mate. I do feel we'll bounce back. I really do. I do think we'll get the win. But I think it's going to be a nervy 2-1.
Again, it depends. Eatwell said that Tadebo's a doubt. if Tadebo's a doubt, and we don't know what the situation is with Mavropanos, we might have to put like Rodriguez in centre back or something.
It'll probably be Alvarez who will go centre back.
Or Alvarez, Alvarez, that's a shout.
Because he plays there, and that could be a blessing in disguise because he's a little bit quicker.
Well, like Tadebo's got, he's got a little bit of pace about him.
Yeah. But Alvarez would be a good fit to slot in there. He's to be fair, I thought when he come on against Arsenal at half time, I thought he did okay. He looks much more in control of his emotions, and he wasn't reckless in his tackles, which a big worry for him coming on in that game, especially the way he's been lately, is that he was going to be reckless and cause us more problems by getting himself sent off. But, I think he showed there that what he's the attributes that he has got to be that sort of holding midfielder / slotting in centre-back.
Yeah, no, 100%. So, mate, let's hope so. And hopefully Dagenham go and knock Millwall out of the FA Cup as well. I think a lot of West Ham will be in that away end at Millwall to watch that. That's for sure. So
that is it, mate. That is it. But look, big week of football. Games coming thick and fast now. This Christmas period, it's going to be a very, very. It's going to be a turning point in our season, one way or the other, I think, and hopefully for the positive, it all starts tomorrow night with a win. But and
hopefully Pep gets sacked and we can pick him up.
Could you imagine that? That would be mental. It's never going to happen because Pep only goes to where the teams have got loads of money and they've already got the best squad of players about. So
prove him wrong, Pep. Prove him wrong. That's all I'm saying.
I wish he would, but I very that would never happen, mate, to be honest. But Dan, thank you very much for joining me, mate. Thank you everyone who's been in chat. It's been nice doing a live one. It's made a bit difference. So
we'll see what people think if people want to see this more. And it's hard with the fixtures coming thick and fast. Having time to edit it and get it out in time is tricky. So we'll see what people think. It's a good alternative.
Mate. Exactly. But mate, thank you very much. One thing left to say.
Come on, you Irons. Don't embarrass us.